Hey everybody, welcome to Project Time Trial Week 2. This week we're going to run the same program sequence as last week, so I won't get into that. I just want to talk a little bit about the theory behind it. So, if you are a Thera Wellness professional and experienced with our programs, you will recognize these first two, 3760 and 3761, as programs for menstrual cramps. The story is that last year, when Cassandra was developing this program sequence, she had an oopsie and misread menstrual as muscular. So we just went forward with it anyway. And I set a PR. So it worked. It's the theories why this is. The menstrual cramp programs are very much, core muscles. And your core is really important in cycling because that, especially when you are stretched out like you are, it keeps you up, keeps you, strong, helps you balance. So, happy accident. And then, of course, as I discussed last week, if we go to substance complexes, categories, musculoskeletal, and then we go to neck relief release. This one is, again, just, when you're really tucked and trying to be as aerodynamic as possible, your neck is under a lot of strain keeping up when you're hunched and all like this. So I hope that helps. It is really hot today, so we'll see how I do. See you on the course.
So as we're getting into things, I will signpost that it is really hot out. My computer was reading 93 degrees, although elsewhere in the city it was over 100. This just goes to show how much trees, water, and just nature in general does a good job of cooling you off. So it is really hot, but thankfully not as bad as elsewhere in the city. So we're going up here. Last week I thought I maybe put a little bit too much power down in this part of the course and maybe didn't have the energy for the finish. So I'm trying to put maybe a little bit less to see if maybe I can sustain a higher speed in total. We'll see how this plan goes. Coming up here, I just wanted to show you this part because I haven't gotten good footage of it before. This is the steepest and worst part of the course because it's steep, the road's not great, and you're just out of sight of all the people who are cheering you on. Let's just watch the film roll as we ascend. And coming in, we are unfortunately in the sun again, where it is not a fun time. Thankfully, we get back in the shade real quick here. And coming around this bend, I'm able to take the best line, which means going into opposing traffic. And thankfully, there's no order to make that a bad idea. But we're going to continue on as we climb higher. coming up the fork to the peak of the lollipop. We are putting in more power because the end of climbing is in sight. We are coming into it. I'm, gripping a little bit tighter, pushing a little bit harder, and we're almost there. Almost there. And we are very nearly at the top. You'll see me start to shift into harder gears. There I go into my large chainring, and we are rocketing down. For our first sharp turn, I get into the drops, and we turn. I think I did pretty well on this turn. Took it pretty fast. I don't think I lost a lot of speed. And we are off. Remember in previous weeks how I've said this intersection coming up ahead can be problematic because cars will come into the road when they really shouldn't and should wait for me? Well, this car does that, and I have to brake hard, lose a lot of momentum, but back on the pedals, get back up to speed, and see the rest of the course. I think I'm generally doing pretty well on this descent. I am maintaining a good aero tuck. I don't feel like I have to go into the drops for control. Being up as I am like this with my forearms parallel to the ground is more aerodynamic than being in the drops. Downside is the drops give me a lot more control. And as we're coming around here, we get to the next sharp turn in the drops. And then I think I did okay here. Not my best. I've never found a good way to take that turn, but I'm going to keep at it and hopefully eventually it'll be good. So, fun fact here, this bridge is the site of a National Park Service study on bats. Bats are great, they're good pollinators, and they eat a lot of bugs. And as we come around this final turn on the Ridge Road descent, we're going to speed up a bit and we'll get in the drops. Thankfully, this car is nice and waits for me to pass. And we hit this turn. I did a lot better than last week. Still, I could use some work here. And thankfully, I remembered to take the better line, which is the smoother line. And thankfully that car is too far away to make any trouble. And we'll come around the turn onto Beach Drive. And this is where things really speed up. I had plenty of energy left, so I just start really putting down power. And coming in down Beach Drive, you'll soon see me get into if this were an official race, this position would be illegal, but it's not governed by the international cycling body, so I can do what I want. This is an even more aerodynamic position, but it takes a lot of core strength, and I have even less control. But I go for it, and I keep it up, and then I just ran out of the ability to maintain that position. It's also pretty hard on your neck. And we're just gonna rocket down beach drive. You can see how fast I'm going. And I'm just gonna let this run to show you perhaps the prettiest part of the course. And then here it comes into perhaps the most fun part for me anyway. We have this little bend of a left turn that you can take at pretty good speed, and especially if you lean into it. And as we come around this bend, we have a right turn onto a bridge, which you can see now. And we go up and over it, and once you get over this bridge and this little downhill, you just shoot out of it like a slingshot. And then you get another fun turn where you can just lean into it and pedal hard. And we've got just a little bit more to the end of the course. And you can see the time, but I could not. So we'll see what we end up at. And we're coming into the last turn, and we'll get up on the sidewalk here, and that lime scooter is annoying me because it cut off the line I wanted to take across the grass. So I had to settle for that route. And unfortunately it gets really bumpy here, so I'm sorry it's shaking a bit, but we are sprinting for the end. I am putting down everything I've got, and we're going, and we're going. And there's the end. The official time here was 16:23, which is 7 seconds slower than last week. Some of that might be the heat. Probably my strategy in terms of where to put down power was not the most effective. So yeah, this is disappointing. I'm gonna give this a thought, and we will see if we can do better next time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.